Nestled deep within the redwood forests of Monte Rio, California, lies the Bohemian Grove, a place of intense speculation and mystery. This sprawling 2,700-acre campground is owned by the private, all-male Bohemian Club, based in San Francisco. The story of the Bohemian Club begins not in the woods, but in the bustling city of San Francisco in the year 1872. Initially, it was a regular gathering for journalists, artists, and musicians with a shared passion for the arts and a disdain for the mundane. The club's motto, "Weaving spiders come not here," was intended to signify that business and outside concerns were to be left at the door. The first summer encampment, a tradition that would evolve into the Grove Retreat, took place in 1878. Over time, the club's membership began to shift, attracting wealthy and powerful businessmen, politicians, and military leaders. This transformation from a bohemian artist collective to an elite power brokers retreat is central to the Grove's mystique. Every July, some of the most influential men in the world gather for a 2-week encampment at the Grove. Attendees have included U.S. presidents, cabinet members, CEO of Fortune 500 companies, and high-ranking media executives. The privacy is extreme, the location is guarded, and the proceedings are shrouded in secrecy. This intense secrecy has been a fertile breeding ground for a wide array of conspiracy theories. At the heart of the Grove's lore is its most famous and controversial event, the cremation of care ceremony. This elaborate theatrical production takes place on the first Saturday of the encampment. It is performed at the base of a 40-foot concrete owl statue, a representation of the club's symbol. The owl, a traditional symbol of wisdom, takes on a more ominous meaning in the context of the ceremony's interpretation by outsiders. The ceremony involves robed figures, a funeral pyre, and the symbolic burning of an effigy named Dull Care. Club members describe it as a cathartic, satirical ritual designed to release the burdens and worries of the outside world. They insist it's merely a juvenile, theatrical spoof with no deeper significance. However, to conspiracy theorists, the cremation of care is anything but innocent. They see it as a mock human sacrifice, an occult ritual with sinister, pagan roots. The owl statue is often linked to ancient deities, such as Moloch or Minerva, adding to the dark interpretations. In 2000, radio host and filmmaker Alex Jones famously infiltrated the Grove and secretly videotaped the ceremony. Jones's resulting film, Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove, portrayed the event as a bizarre, satanic ritual performed by the world's elite. His footage, though grainy and distant, became a cornerstone of modern Bohemian Grove conspiracy lore. Theorists argue that these powerful men are not just relaxing, but are engaging in policy-making and strategic planning in secret. The Manhattan Project planning meeting, which led to the atomic bomb, is said to have taken place at the Grove in 1942. This historical event lends credibility to the idea that the Grove is a venue for consequential, world-altering decisions. Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan allegedly met at the Grove in 1967 to agree that Reagan would not challenge Nixon for the presidency in 1968. Nixon himself famously described the Grove as the most faggy goddamn thing you could ever imagine. This quote is often used by both critics and defenders of the club for different reasons. Protesters have gathered outside the Grove's entrance for decades, decrying the club's secrecy and elitism. They argue that such a concentration of power, meeting in private, is fundamentally undemocratic. The all-male membership policy has also been a significant point of contention and legal challenges. The club was forced to hire female employees after a California Supreme Court ruling in 1987. But membership remains exclusively male. Defenders of the Grove, however, paint a starkly different picture of the encampment. They describe it as a simple summer camp for adults, a place to escape the pressures of their high-stakes jobs. Activities reportedly include lectures, musical performances, plays, and informal chats by the lake. Many of the plays, known as Grove plays, are elaborate, high-budget productions written and performed by the members themselves. These performances are a source of great pride for the club and are seen as a continuation of its artistic roots. The Lakeside Talks feature prominent members and guests speaking on a variety of non-business topics. According to members, the strict no-business rule is genuinely enforced, with a focus on camaraderie and relaxation. They claim the real secret of Bohemian Grove is simply that powerful men can enjoy nature and art without their usual responsibilities. The narrative of it being just a camp is supported by many journalists who have attended as guests. They often report finding the experience to be more boring and sophomoric than sinister. The rituals are described as inside jokes and traditions that have been blown out of proportion by outsiders. The sheer concentration of global power in one location remains undeniably significant. Critics argue that even informal conversations between such individuals can have massive global repercussions. The line between social networking and political collusion can be incredibly fine. The club's membership list is a veritable who's who of the American establishment. This fuels the perception of a shadow government or a ruling class coordinating its agenda away from public scrutiny. The Grove represents a physical manifestation of the Old Boys Network, a system of mutual support and influence among the elite. The debate, therefore, hinges on intent and interpretation. Is it a harmless, albeit exclusive, social club, or is it a clandestine cabal shaping the world's future? The truth likely lies somewhere in the murky middle ground between these two extremes. It is undeniably a place where powerful people build relationships. Those relationships, forged in a relaxed and private setting, can be more potent than any formal meeting. The conspiracy theories, while often sensationalized, tap into legitimate concerns about power, secrecy, and influence. The club's refusal to be more transparent only adds fuel to the speculative fire. Ultimately, the Bohemian Grove is a paradox, a place of artistic expression for the powerful, a summer camp for the elite, and a symbol of secret governance. Its true nature remains obscured by the redwood curtain, leaving the world to wonder what really happens when the spiders are away. The club's history is intertwined with the development of California itself. Early members were instrumental in the cultural and economic growth of the American West. The transition to a more business-oriented membership reflected a broader shift in American society. The Grove's very existence speaks to a desire for a space beyond the reach of public and media oversight. The owl symbol itself is ancient, representing wisdom and foresight in many cultures. However, in the shadowy context of the Grove, it takes on a more sinister, watchful quality. The ceremony script is filled with archaic language and dramatic pronouncements. It speaks of vanquishing the enemy of man's happiness, which is care. To an outsider, this language can easily be misinterpreted as having a darker, more literal meaning. The use of robes and fire are classic elements of ceremonial ritual, both sacred and profane. This archetypal imagery is powerful and easily lends itself to conspiracy. The list of past and present members is a closely guarded secret, though some names have been leaked over the years. Every Republican U.S. president since Herbert Hoover has reportedly been a member. This political uniformity adds to the theory of a coordinated political agenda. The Grove is divided into various smaller camps, each with its own unique character and membership. Some camps are known for being more raucous and party-oriented, while others are more staid and traditional. This internal structure mimics a microcosm of society, with its own hierarchies and social circles. The waiting list to become a member is said to be decades long, enhancing its exclusivity. The high cost of membership ensures that only the exceptionally wealthy can join. This financial barrier is another point of criticism from those who see the club as a bastion of elitism. The counter-argument is that the club operates like any other private social organization. Many private clubs have exclusive membership criteria and secret traditions. The only difference, defenders argue, is the fame and power of the Grove's particular members. This fame acts as a lightning rod for public suspicion and curiosity. The Grove's art collection, including paintings and sculptures by member artists, is reportedly extensive. This highlights the club's continued, if diminished, connection to its artistic origins. The natural setting of the redwood forest is a crucial part of the Grove's appeal. The giant, ancient trees create a sense of being in a natural cathedral, far from the modern world. This environment is conducive to introspection and the shedding of worldly care. Whether this shedding of care is innocent relaxation or a ritualistic transfer of power remains the central question. Lack of concrete evidence for the more extreme theories forces people to rely on interpretation. Is the burning effigy a harmless joke or a symbol of a pact? Is the owl a wise mascot or a watchful idol? The answers depend entirely on one's trust in the institutions of power. For those who are more trusting, it is simply a quirky and anachronistic social club. The Grove's legacy is therefore dual: a private retreat and a public obsession. It continues to be a potent symbol in the ongoing cultural conversation about power and secrecy. The annual protests ensure that the club cannot operate in complete obscurity. These demonstrations, though small, keep the debate alive in the public consciousness. The rise of the internet has allowed conspiracy theories about the Grove to spread farther and faster than ever before. Video clips and discussion forums have replaced whispered rumors and pamphlets. This digital dissemination ensures that each new generation is introduced to the Grove's mysteries. The club itself maintains a steadfast silence, refusing to engage with the controversy. This silence is interpreted as dignity by its supporters and guilt by its detractors. The organization has survived for over 150 years, weathering storms of controversy and protest. Its resilience suggests a powerful instinct for self-preservation. In the Grove, they are not presidents or CEOs, but simply bohos. This shared identity fosters a powerful bond of fellowship. It is this bond, more than any specific ritual, that may be the Grove's most significant product. The influence of these bonds on the world stage is impossible to measure but foolish to ignore. So, is it an elite secret society or just a summer camp? The answer remains a matter of perspective, hidden behind a wall of secrecy and a curtain of redwood trees. The initial gatherings were fueled by a shared love for literature and performance. Oscar Wilde, a famous visor, lectured the club in 1882, an event still recounted in club history. The move to the Grove was partly inspired by a desire to connect with nature, a common theme in the romantic art of the era. The first cremation of Care was much simpler than the modern version, a more spontaneous and less theatrical affair. The 40-foot owl was designed by sculptor and club member Haig Petigian and built in the 1920s. The owl contains a hidden sound system to provide the voice of the owl during the ceremony. The ceremony's music was composed by club members, adding to its unique, insular culture. During World War II, The encampments were suspended for several years. The post-war era saw a boom in membership from the military-industrial complex. This influx solidified the club's reputation as a hub for the powerful. The 1960s counterculture movement first brought significant public protest to the Grove. They saw it as the ultimate symbol of the establishment they were rebelling against. Spy magazine famously infiltrated the club in 1989, publishing an exposé that was more humorous than damning. They reported on the heavy drinking and sophomoric, camp-like behavior. This report contrasted sharply with the dark, satanic imagery promoted by other theorists. The club's library is said to hold rare books and manuscripts written by its members. The Grove play is a significant undertaking, often costing hundreds of thousands of dollars to produce. The cast and crew are all club members, regardless of their day jobs. This dedication to amateur art is a core part of the club's identity. The secrecy surrounding the talks and events is what allows members to speak freely, without fear of public judgment or media misinterpretation. They can be more candid. This candor, however, is precisely what worries critics. The line between a private chat and a secret pact is drawn in the mind of the beholder. Ultimately, the Bohemian Grove remains a potent symbol, reflecting our deepest anxieties about power, class, and control.